What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What's going on, friends and family? Another opportunity to do great things. Let me just tell y'all. Let me tell y'all. Prayers for California residents and prayers for Anton. Some people noticed yesterday that, and I actually seen it in the chat. That always amazed me how y'all care for me, how y'all pay attention to me, and everything like that. Because a lot of people in the chat, some people, not a lot, just a few people in the chat yesterday mentioned, and it was like, Anton, um, is everything cool? Is everything all right? And if you go back and you watch the show yesterday, it was a couple different segments or a few different segments yesterday where I had walked away from the camera for an extended period of time. And the reason that I had walked away from the camera for an extended period of time is because I was throwing up. Yep, I was throwing up, but there's no way in the world that I was ever going to end the show. And it didn't start to hit me, the sickness that I had yesterday. And I don't know if it was a virus or if it was just food poisoning. I feel much better today, but it didn't hit me until after the show had started. And so I'm basically just figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm still staying attentive to the stuff that I'm having a conversation about. We still doing a show. I'm still trying not to, make it to seem like anything more than what it was. But I was tore up yesterday. I was beat. And after the show, it's funny because on the show, um, three different times I was just like violently throwing up. So I would like, hold it, I would have a clip plan, but that particular clip I had already seen, so I knew what I was gonna talk about. Once I had came back and stopped the clip, but I would be in the bathroom and I was just hurling, like I was towed down. And then after the show, I thank God I didn't have to do a live stream last night because in between taking care of different business and work, and then I had to go and check on a construction project that was going on. I basically was just knocked out. My legs was wobbly. Every time I would wake up in order to get up to use the bathroom, it would take me a half hour to get out of bed. I was tore down. I felt like I was gonna die. I said, man, if this is the way that I'm going, I had just talked to God and said, God, I don't want to go until I'm like 87 and I want a woman on top of me. You know, this ain't the way that I thought that I was gonna go. And more importantly, food. You know what? Food don't even look appealing to me. I seen some food yesterday that would usually look good. It just looked nasty. I don't want no food. You know what I'm saying? I only want fruits and vegetables. Just give me fruits and vegetables and water. Other than that, I'm done. But yeah, man, I was toe up yesterday, but we still finished and we still took care of business. And hopefully it wasn't too noticeable, but you know, it is what it is. And it's funny because I had just got back from Vegas. I seen some people in my comments on another video that I did, and they said, "That's because you always eating out." I just came from Vegas. What you thought I was gonna be cooking in a hotel room? Anyways, neither here nor there. I also want to give a shout out to all of the people that's in my life, including my daughter, everybody that's in my life that just took care of me yesterday. Rita was there. You know, people just look out for me. So the whole time where I'm milling about and I got to take care of business, and so they would, make sure that I'm taken care of, getting me ginger ale, keeping me pumped up with food, taking my temperature, basically cleaning up after me. So I would use the restroom or I would throw up and then I would go and jump in the shower. I took like 4 showers yesterday because, if I'm feeling nasty, I need to get that off of me. So I took like 4 showers yesterday and they would just be running behind me, cleaning up after me and making sure that I'm taken care of and all of that. And I feel way better. Much, much, much better today. I feel incredible. So I wanted to go down to the studio today, but I said, I need to just wait and see how I feel. And then maybe we'll hit it tomorrow or next week or this weekend or whatever. So I'm not in a rush, but yeah, man. I was thinking to myself, they may have to carry me through this after hours tomorrow night or something because I'm just not feeling great. But I feel better. I feel a lot better. Life is good. I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I have zero complaints whatsoever. And God is good. God has always been good to me, and He looking out for me, and He put the right people in my life for certain things, and make sure that I'm taken care of. So, yeah, man, life is good. Life is awesome. And that was what was happening yesterday for those of y'all that wanted to know. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. I appreciate y'all for continuing to hold me down. Thank you to everybody that checked on me yesterday. I was knocked out. Shout out to my girl Molly. Molly says she giving me my flowers. Thank you, Molly, for holding me down. ESDC, I appreciate you, big dog. And then Mike, that dude over here on Cash App. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you to everybody that look out for me and take care of me. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Let me read a few super chats and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Talbish says, "Good morning, Anton. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, Talbish. Happy birthday, big dog." Yeah. Molly in the building says, "Good morning, Anton. Hopefully you feeling better." I'm feeling significantly better. See, now when you go back and you look at different portions of the show yesterday, versus how I am today, you're gonna be like, yeah, he was so up. I was tore down. Absolutely tore down. Thank you, Molly. I appreciate you. Y'all can catch Molly on the show tonight on After Hours. Self-Made Forever says, "AD, what do you think should be the penalty of these insurance companies pulling away their services when they're needed the most?" Penalty of what? What do you mean? Insurance companies been pulling out of California for a long time now. I've been covering that for a long time. I told y'all that the first thing that I look at when I'm trying to see if an area or something is an investment opportunity, I don't care if it's in the city that I'm in or what, I look at the insurance companies. I go call my friends that work for the insurance companies to see what the vibes is and see what they're anticipating. Insurance companies' jobs is not to make sure that you're taken care of. Insurance companies' jobs, especially you know, um, homeowners insurance, car insurance, their job is to make money. I don't know if y'all knew that. For some reason, y'all think that insurance companies' jobs is to make sure that y'all taken care of. No, insurance companies is to provide you a service if indeed an event happened. But at the same time, they are there for their shareholders. They're there for the people that generate revenue. For some reason, y'all think that the insurance companies work for y'all. They don't. Insurance companies started pulling out of California years ago. I had whole live streams on this platform. It's a gamble. It's literally a gamble. They're gambling that nothing is going to happen, but just in case, then they'll make sure that you're good. But what good is an insurance company if they bankrupt? What you think that they're not making or making an informed decision to anticipate what's going to happen in California? You think that they didn't know? Their job is to make money. Their job is not to make sure that you're good. It's a pool of money that comes together just in case anything happens, hopefully in anticipation that not everything happens at the same time. Insurance companies been said that they was pulling out of California because California was trash. They been said that. They've been doing that. What y'all think that they were supposed to come back and make sure that your home was protected? No, I told y'all to get out of California a long time ago. That no matter what kind of house you build, no matter how much money that you was making, that you was gonna suffer if you was over in California. Then y'all started getting emotional about it and said, "Don't talk about my California." What California is burned to the ground now? What Los Angeles? Most of these houses over in the Palisades is burned to the ground now. Listen, nobody is coming to save you. The minute that you take into consideration, because again, an insurance policy is just that, just in case, hopefully nothing happens, whatever. But the minute that y'all come to the conclusion that nobody is ever gonna come and save you, you'll make better decisions in your life. You know what? It's probably not best to go over there. It's probably not best to do this. It's probably not best to buy that car. But if you're willing to take the L, if you're willing to take the loss, then you'll prepare yourself more effectively. But if you thought that you was gonna be in California and it wasn't gonna be a forest fire this year, next year, wildfire, the year after that, earthquake, at some point, an earthquake is gonna come through California and tear that whole state apart. At some point, an earthquake is going to come through California and tear that whole place apart. At some point, a hurricane is going to come through New Orleans and tear that whole place apart. At some point, a hurricane is going to come through Florida and tear that whole place apart. Now, if you want to take the risk of being down there, cool. Go ahead. At some point, taxes going to become so high that everybody is going to try to run out of California, and it's going to be a huge foreclosures, massive foreclosures of big houses. And then homeless people and the squatters is going to go in and take over California. If at some point you don't anticipate that happening, but you move down into these places thinking that you're going to be able to pass down generational wealth, you a fool. You're a fool if you think that California and all of these different places that clearly the insurance companies is running out of, and you don't take steps to put yourself in the best position possible. I'll go and visit Florida all day. I love Florida. I love going to Miami in the design district. I'm going to visit. I'm not going to invest in there. I'm not buying a place there. Snowbirding in Florida is dead. It's gone. California, phenomenal weather. Love staying at an Airbnb over there or a hotel and kicking it with my friends. But ain't no way in the world I would ever buy a place in California. Y'all stupid. And then they want to get mad at me because I call it. No, I'm preparing you. I'm trying to tell you this whole show is going to pretty much be about California and what's going on over there. We bringing all of them, the leaders, the legislators, the wildfires, the people that live there. We bringing them all to the front of the congregation. But if at some point you don't realize, that these places is itching for a huge, massive national disaster, and you just hoping that it don't happen, you a fool. You a fool. You a fool with a death wish. But what y'all think? Anyways, let me read some more of these super chats and we're gonna get started with the show. Shout out to Self Made Forever. Insurance companies ain't gonna save you. You gotta save yourself. Xavier Williams says, "Good morning, OG. Sip some ginger tea with honey and lemon. Take a tablespoon of black seed oil and drink a bunch of harmless harvest coconut water in the next few days." Yeah, man, I'm changing my whole perspective about food. I can't eat. I can't put this stuff in my body no more. Dean Murray says, "Sounds like you had some of Kamala's greens that was made in the bathtub." Shout out to my dog Ray Sean. Shout out to Food Game Show. Still got it done. Yeah, man. We had to do it. We had to do it. I wasn't gonna end the show. We had to get through that, Ray Sean. No excuses. If you telling me I just had to go ahead and take care of business and throw up off camera, we got to get it done. We do what we got to do. Red Cup Talks podcast with Meek and my girl says, "Good morning, AD. I got topics for the night. Get well." See what I'm saying? You see how the ladies take care of you? They love me. Shout out to my girl Mika. Brock Caldwell says, "Hello, Mr. Daniels. It was nice meeting you at your event. I sent you that email as well. Keep giving us the game. Yeah, I got you. Shout out to my dog Brock. Got my inauguration tickets from Michaela Montgomery today. Yeah, Michaela just texted me. She texted me this morning. Shout out to Michaela. Make sure I text her back while I'm thinking about it. Y'all know my text game is trash. My text game is trash. So shout out to my girl Michaela. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all ready to get it popping for the show? All right. Lord, bless the people in California. You want to dedicate this entire prayer to the people that are facing unprecedented national disasters in California. Bless them, preserve lives, and be with them. Take care of them. Show up for them in the face of inept leadership. And bless them. Just bless them. We know that they are uprooted. A lot of people are going to have to change their whole lives. Schools is burned down. Homes is completely gone. Just be with the people in California as we do this show. We love you. We appreciate you. In Jesus' name, amen. So shout out to the people in California. But before we get over to what's happening in California, let's go ahead and do Quick Hits, y'all. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I got a video that's coming out this weekend. Slightly delayed, but it's coming out this weekend because I was ill yesterday. So the day that I was recording and taking care of business, I didn't have much capacity to do so because I was just trying to rest and get well. But make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. Let's get to it, y'all. Quick hits. Let's pop it off. So, first things first in quick hits, older people in Chicago is trying to crack down on immigration all of a sudden. Check it out.
Chicago's welcoming city will be discussed at next week's council meeting.
Some members think the city should be working more with federal agents to uncover criminals, but others call it a political move. Elizabeth Matthews is live at City Hall with more. Elizabeth.
Scott, down this amendment was first discussed back in September of 2023. That's when Chicago was seeing busloads of migrants pour into the city. What this amendment to the Welcoming City Ordinance would do is loosen restrictions for city agencies to work with federal partners when it comes to dealing with undocumented criminals.
Chicago will remain a welcoming city. What we're saying is that those immigrants that commit a crime when you are here, you're not welcome anymore.
Council members Silvana Tabarez and Ray Lopez say this amendment to the Welcoming City Ordinance would make all of Chicago safer. It would allow city agencies to work with ICE agents when it comes to finding non-citizens who are committing crimes. And in turn, federal authorities wouldn't have to scour neighborhoods looking for the bad apples. With President Trump's second term about to begin, the threat of mass deportations have been prominent. But Councilmember Tabarez says this proposal doesn't have a connection to the incoming administration, but more to do with the influx of migrants.
All the residents in Chicago, they have sacrificed services and their tax dollars to appease and accommodate migrants and their advocates. And it's time now to say that we're not going to, they shouldn't tolerate living in an unsafe neighborhood. We should make our neighborhood safer.
As I think is more political theater in a time that our city and our constituents need reassurance from elected officials that we're going to do everything we can to make sure that their families are safe.
Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez says as for finding the criminals, he says the legal process already has a system in place, whether you're undocumented or not.
I do think that we have a due process, and the city and the state of Chicago have been a city of immigrants for generations. And I think that to use these times, this narrative, to go after our city and our constituents truly
is he clearly he doesn't seem like, and I could be wrong, but is this alderman right here, is he actually an American? Like, well, of course he has to be an American citizen. But it doesn't, the way he's talking and his broken English, it doesn't even seem like he's originally from the United States of America. I think that in order for you to even be able to hold a seat, you got to be born here. You have to be born in the United States to hold a seat in any legislative branch, from local to national. You have to be able to be born in the United States of America. And I'm not saying that he's not, but I do believe this is a political move. Obviously, they know Trump is coming through. They know Tom Homan is going to be ground zero on January 20th, January 21st. Y'all said he is not American. He don't even speak the language that well. I don't understand it. How do you, okay, so how do you get elected to a seat if you're not originally born here in the United States of America? I don't even know what he's saying. Listen to what he's talking like. Listen to this.
Process, and the city and the state of Chicago have been a city of immigrants for generations. And I think that to use these times, this narrative, to go after our city and our
Who y'all voting in here, man? Honestly, who y'all voting in office over in Chicago? Somebody said he is my alderman in Chicago. He is completely inept. He is only for Hispanics. Funny, his wife is Asian. Really? Who y'all voting in Chicago? He can't even speak English fluently. I wonder if I can go to a completely different country and run for office and win. If they will roll with me with the same way that we roll with, we just let anybody in here do anything that they want to do. It is a political move. And I'm tired of these people in these cities, whether it's Chicago or New York, say stuff like, well, we need to go after the problem immigrants. No, the fact that you came over here illegally is a problem. It's almost like if somebody came into your house, but you can't remove them unless they committed a crime. What do you mean I can't, you in my house illegally? That's why I don't like squatters. Anyways, that's what's going on over in Chicago. In addition to Chicago, a man is wanted from all last year, going to different hotels, living the luxury life, and charging it to people's hotel rooms. Check it out.
DC police searching for a man who posed as a hotel guest at a luxury hotel and then stole from that hotel.
This all happened at the Four Seasons.
Christina says, check this out. So Christina says, but Elon is not born here. I think we need to be consistent with views. Consistent what? Elon Musk is not taking public tax dollars as a legislator. Elon Musk paid more taxes than any other human in the history of the United States of America. That is called somebody that actually is contributing. He gives jobs. He has people that's working for him, whether it's the companies that he created as a part of PayPal or Tesla. He created the most valuable automaker in the world that eclipsed all of the foreign automakers that's here in the United States of America. He paid over 30 something. He paid billions in taxes in 1 year. He literally is one of the biggest contributors to our society, whether it be innovation or SpaceX or using satellites for people that's in hurricane affected areas for free, for them to be able to communicate with people because our national government and our leaders don't help. It's a much bigger difference from Elon Musk just because he's not born here, but it doesn't mean that you're not contributing into American society. Whereas you're getting paid as a legislator to represent the people, but you're doing the thing that's the complete opposite of what their interests are. How can you explain an alderman in Chicago with the Elon Musk that actually contributes, removes censorship, allows for people to say what they want, and very much represents what the American dream is? I think what people don't understand is that nobody is against immigration. We're against illegal immigration. Nobody is against immigration. We're against illegal immigration. That's the difference. He absolutely gets a pass. He's an American citizen, but he's not running for office. What is there for him to get a pass for? What does he need a pass for? Y'all hate rich people so much because you dusty. Why would you hate a person that actually employ tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of American citizens and give them good paying jobs? Elon Musk has made more people millionaires. Even the people that worked on Tesla's floor, he's given them equity into the company. But I said if they were not born here, they should. Should what? Be able to speak fluent English before they run for office? Absolutely, you should. I didn't see where Elon Musk could run for office. He can't run for president of the United States of America. I'm really confused what y'all talking about right now. I'm really confused at what y'all talking about. So you talking about a person that actually pay your taxes so that you can live in y'all Section 8 houses, not you, Christina Holloman, but in general. Yeah, Shelby, I live stream between 9 and 9:30 Eastern on the Millionaire Morning Show. Am I missing something? Elon Musk is for himself. This is why. Yeah, all of us are for ourselves. I'm for myself. You for yourself. Why wouldn't we be for ourselves? It don't mean that we don't have to abide by what goes on in the United States of America. Is something wrong with y'all? Do y'all know how civics work? Did y'all not take government when y'all was in school, when y'all was in middle school and high school? The dude, let me see how much he paid in taxes last year or the year before last. Because this is who we talking about as far as contributing. Elon Musk in 2021 paid $15 billion in state and federal taxes from selling Tesla shares. He paid the most taxes ever in history. I'm sorry, I was wrong. That's a little bit too much. He paid $11 billion in taxes, according to CNN and Americans for Tax Fairness. He paid $11 billion in one pop in taxes. And so y'all saying that that's not a person that contributes to society? He paid $11 billion in 2021 alone. That means all of y'all government handouts, all of the things that happen inside of society, he probably had a hand in that. Y'all just like the Iron Man movie. Y'all literally just like the Iron Man movie. When he was trying to convince the federal government that wanted a hand in everything that he had, he said, no, I'm not giving you a hand in what I got going on. I gave y'all world peace. What more do you want from me? What's wrong with y'all? So are y'all that angry towards somebody? Not even gonna get into it. Let's continue.
In Georgetown, and even though the man never stayed there, he is all over the hotel surveillance camera system.
All right, had a busy day for sure. Stephanie Ramirez in Georgetown this morning with more for us. Hey, Steph.
Good morning, guys. I want to give you an idea when we talk about luxury hotel, the Four Seasons here. I did look online. I can tell you, if you want to stay there tonight, it's a steal. I'm being sarcastic here, but $850 for a one-night stay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Tonight in a deluxe room with a king bed. And just to get an idea of another time to stay, I checked April 1st, and that same room is going for even more, around $1,700 a night. Now, I want you to get a look at the suspect police are looking for here. D.C. police asking for help finding this younger-looking man seen getting out of a Porsche back on November 23rd. This was the weekend right before Thanksgiving. He's seen on hotel video talking with staff at one point. Police then say the suspect went to the restaurant here and ordered various items, charging it to a room he's not staying in. We're told he then walks to the gym and works out, then leaves, getting back in his Porsche. Now, this is very much an unusual crime for police, but it is stealing nonetheless. We're told the charges would include a theft here as well as fraud. Police have a $1,000 reward for information leading.
Man, don't nobody care about no $1,000 reward. Y'all gonna have to up that. He went into that hotel, charged everything to the room, and kept it moving. Shout out to him for being a criminal. We need to have him arrested and removed. And then last but not least, they're saying that Amazon's return to office with over 50,000 people going back into the office is reviving Seattle. Check it out.
Hi, Preston. We're talking about 50,000 people a day coming back to this part of town. And while Amazon had required employees to be in the office 3 days a week last year, this is now returning the workplace and the neighborhood to pre-pandemic norms. The Civic Generator is back. Next to the long food truck lines, the full parking lots, and a bunch of badged people walking to and fro.
I agree. It's hard. I was not a fan at first.
Rena Palumbo, who works on the AWS team, says she's happy to be back in person on a daily basis.
It's important for us to keep that human connection. And it's really hard to collaborate and to build relationships with others behind a screen from your house all the time.
The mandate from Amazon CEO Andy Jassy is being closely watched for more than one reason. Amazon employees, that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
Michaela Benedict owns the House of Eve restaurant and bar.
I think it's going to save a lot of businesses because I don't think I'm the only one that's just trying to hang on.
But there are questions about traffic, with transportation analysts INRIX suggesting Amazon's hybrid return boosted traffic times by 35% on key routes, and civic leaders banking on a successful reboot to serve as a model for other companies to fill office space in a city with a 30% vacancy rate.
Amazon's return is a gift that's going to keep on giving all year long.
The Downtown Seattle Association's John Scholes dismissed the traffic concerns.
Thankfully, there's more ways to get here than just in your car. And we've got more train service, more bus service than we had a year ago.
It is likely too early to make any sort of clear conclusion.
We have more people here on campus than we've had in a long time.
But almost 5 years after the pandemic abruptly sputtered it, the engine is running again.
Yeah, the return to office, I think that people are so narrow-minded that they're not open to why a lot of this is happening, why a lot of the city leaders is working with these companies to get people back into the office. And it's to boost the economic engine of what these cities are in the first place. It's the reason why you incentivize a lot of these companies to build and create jobs inside of your city, is because the circulation of the American tax dollar helps a lot of businesses. It generates more revenue, it boosts things. And so the more that you have people going out, interacting, going to restaurants, going shopping, having a good time, doing company outings, driving back and forth, stopping at gas stations. When you stop at the gas station, you go in and get a coffee, going to Starbucks, going to this, going to that, ordering stuff that you may need, filling office vacancies. It creates a economy within itself. It's like a city within a city that allows for those cities to then be able to thrive, and then drive more revenue into the city itself. So that is what it's gonna do. You stop complaining, just make the most out of it, and figure out where you can leverage it and make the most money. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right, let me read some of these super chats, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. J Dub says, "I appreciate you and this community so much. Keep up the fantastic work. I'm glad that you're feeling better. You need a lot more. You needed a lot more than others like to admit." I know. I already know. I know that if I don't show up, then some people's days that act like they hate me, it's gonna ruin your life. It's gonna absolutely ruin your life. Some people don't have nothing else better to do, and so that's what they look forward to. They what I like to call people that yell at the TV. But I allow for people to be able to say what they want to say inside of the chat. So it seems like, it's a little different. Chaz, shout out to Chaz. I appreciate you. Top notch rocker in the building says, "Good morning, AD." Anton, I want to shout out my granddaughter, Jalaya, on her 19th birthday. She's doing well in college and not being promiscuous. Shout out to her. I appreciate you. Shout out to Jalaya. Be good at school. Don't be being no bad girl. Daddy's grandpappy is counting on you. Banab says, "Anton, Cali, the Bay Area specifically, has an Asian councilman in San Francisco, is not a citizen and barely speaks English." I guess the localities is different, and maybe the rules different from local to local, state to state, city to city. Because I know that if you're not born as an American citizen, you can't run for president in the United States in America. Jerry is in the building, says, "DACA dreamers are eligible to be in these positions. People forget that dreamers are not citizens. They are illegal and undocumented as well." Chris Cunningham says, "Y'all Dusty this morning, and Anton is y'all the Jordan flu game. Shout out to you. Chris Cunningham says giving y'all the Jordan flu game. Mr. Joe says Musk is arguably the most impactful person in America. He is, and people don't appreciate him, but that's how hateful people work. He fits the profile. Freeloader starter pack. Yeah, he did, and he had a book bag in his hand too. Jeremy H says, I'm watching the funeral of President Carter and seeing all of the former presidents and vice presidents sitting together looking like an episode of Game of Thrones. Shout out to that. And I also want to give a shout out to Rand Wilson. Says free Starlink for T-Mobile and United States customers. Yeah, Elon Musk is transformational. Shout out to Elon Musk. I love Elon. I'm about to be getting that X money too on the low. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and start the show. I want to focus on California for a lot of it. And then I also want to focus on a story that somebody sent me about a woman that pulled the gun out on a man along with her husband. But we'll get to that later. Let's go over to California, yo, because I need to give y'all an update on what's going on. This is Anderson Cooper in the streets trying to earn that. What is he making? $15-20 million a year? Earning that $15-20 million a year being out on the streets with these fires. Check it out.
Winds, even though, Brianna, the winds have died down, the wind is just taking these embers from the tree. They're all over the block, and they are moving to other houses, and you see new fires being created from these embers. This house is gone. I mean, just look, all these houses are gone here. There's a fire crew here. I was talking to the captain earlier. They ran out of water here on this street about 30 minutes ago. They went, they hooked up the hydrants, they turned them on, the water ran out. So now they're just moving on to another area. What they did when they don't have water is they try to create defensive perimeters around houses that they think they can save. And those houses are houses that don't have a lot of bushes, hedges, plantings in front of them or around them. Or if it does, they try to rip. They've spent like the last hour just trying to clear debris from houses to try to maybe save it. But it's a matter of luck or misfortune where these embers land, where these the flames hop. This area over here, I want to show you.
That looked crazy.
I mean, this house is completely gone. We've watched this entire house burn down. The house next door, the car that you see over here, we watched that. The flames jumped from the house onto the car. There was a small explosion as the gas canister blew. But look, Brianna. See, there's two houses on fire. The third house down now. The roof has caught fire. The fire.
That's crazy.
Was telling me they watch for the attics. Once you see smoke billowing out of the attic, and the attic is on fire, that house may be a lost cause. But it's like this. I mean, it's not just on this block. We just drove to Altadena, and just happened upon this block, got out, and I imagine it is like that. And you hear these explosions. There was an explosion that I caught. I put it on Instagram about 20 minutes ago from a house right down there. Just heard an explosion, and that is, gas canisters, propane tanks go off. So you hear these steady booms off in the distance, or sometimes uncomfortably close. But look, see, that's the crew I was talking to before. They've now moved down. They're scoping out. Let's walk over. They're looking at these houses. I'm assuming if they're going to stop here, maybe they've decided these are defensible houses, and they're going to try to do what they can. There was a woman who lives in that house, that second house down there, about 5 minutes ago. We saw her on her lawn, and she looked very confused. And I mean, I'm no expert, but I said to her, I think you should leave. And she did. She had actually come back to just get some stuff. But when this house exploded, and it was quite loud, I think that freaked her out and made her realize maybe she should get out. Anyway, she got in her vehicle. She got her cat. She's gone. But it looks like this fire truck now, it looks like they're just going somewhere else. It's an extraordinary thing. 30 minutes from here in Hollywood or West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, there's coffee shops open, and you can see smoke in the air. You get in your car, you come here. These areas are blocked off, but it's so close to where regular life is continuing. And for the people on this block, their lives now are forever changed. Look, this fire is now spreading down this block. We've been watching this. Here's what happened on this block. This house was on flames. Let's walk over here. There's a down cable line, so we just want to be careful about that. Let's go around it. Okay, so now the house next door caught. This tree exploded into flames. You can see up in the palm trees now, those embers made those trees go on fire. I don't know if you can see through the smoke. Behind the palm trees, there are now these very tall vertical trees. I don't know much about shrubbery. I don't know what they're called, but they're huge, tall trees. They are now just like flames shooting up into the air. This second house now, I mean, that is just gone. That car,
looked crazy.
I believe that's the explosion we heard a short time ago that I recorded. But now look, it's spread down. This is new. Yeah, we've been watching. See, it then spreads from these trees. Look at all these embers. Just, I don't know if you can pan up, but look at all these embers just flying up. You see them in the smoke. All of that. The winds are a little, or have died down here, but those can just get picked up by winds for miles, and they can go for miles and light down, fall on somebody's roof, and a whole new fire will pop up. So this house is gone.
Look at that nonsense, bro. That looked like hell. I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie Constantine, where Keanu Reeves, he goes down in order to try to like save or see a little child or something like that or whatever like that. It looks just like that. Just like that. Just look at all of the embers that's flying all around. And you know the worst part about it, because we're going to get to this in the next segment, is California ain't got no water. The fire hydrants don't even work. The fire hydrants don't even work. That looks like hell. That is crazy. That is insane. And then the fact that he said, yo, just 30 to 40 minutes away over in, Hollywood or this place, that they just got coffee shops open and it's like, business as usual. Those people need to be taking proactive steps, because the way that these houses and the way that the fires is just jumping from house to house, and they're saying that it's 0% contained. 0% contained. So you're telling me, this is what they telling me, all right? Because it was 0% contained yesterday. It was 0% contained the day before. These fires are not contained whatsoever. It's spread. It's in all these neighborhoods. I've heard, and this is what I've heard the play is. This is what I've seen the play is. That people are driving the cars that they no longer want to pay for, and they're dropping them off and dumping them in areas where they know that the fires is going to be popping off, so that they can try to get the insurance companies to pay off the car, and they no longer have to pay the car note. This is crazy, bro. This is absolutely insane. Crazy. How you not going to have no water?
This house is now underway.
I said Hollywood is on fire now too? Jesus Christ.
The left side of this house is ignited, and also now the house nearby it. But literally, I mean, these embers are like snowflakes. They're falling all around us. The sun, I mean, this is what's so crazy. If you can't even see the sun. It is completely blacked out.
That look crazy. That look insane.
I mean, you can't even see this house, but inside that smoke is another house. It is sandwiched between two houses, completely ablaze. There's no way that house is going to survive. And then just down the block, you see smoke, but you don't see fires. But there's a lot of houses which have already been destroyed down there. But this is very active. This is recently caught. I mean, this is now completely engulfed. Okay. Yeah. And now you see it. Now this house, which was relatively untouched, now this house is...
Look how fast it catches.
...is being destroyed. The fact that the crew
insane,
here
bro.
left, there was no water coming out of the hydrants. Obviously, that's a huge concern, as you guys have been reporting in the Palisades. That's been a real issue through the night. And there was more of a gravity issue in terms of the way water is actually able to get pumped up through hydrants into the hills. I'm not sure what the issue down here is, if it's the same issue. They do obviously have water tanks that they try to bring to a number of locations, but I haven't seen any in this area, and there weren't any for the crew that was right here trying to do what they can. And it's really tough for these firefighters. I mean, they want to save everything. They want to to stop this thing, but there's only so much you can do. Authorities have put out. No, actually, I mean, look, we're actually on the side of the street. That's what's so surreal. I mean, that side of the street, it's blazing hot. This side of the street, it's cool. No house is on fire. There's a firefighter right over there. This is you can operate in this area. We obviously wouldn't be here if we would get out. We have been in this location for about an hour, just watching I mean, it is a sickening thing to watch the strategy of the fire, if you will. Not that it has thought, but how it jumps from one house to another. It jumps into the trees, and then the embers move. You literally see it happening in real time. And I mean, for homeowners who are watching this, it's just devastating. Now, potential issue, which we may move, I think we're going to move now, because this car, let's walk over here a little bit. This car from this house, I can see the trunk is now caught on fire.
Somebody said, why is Anderson Cooper in the field like this? Because Anderson Cooper make $20 million a year, and this is why he get paid the big bucks. You know what I'm saying? That's why. Because when you get paid all of that money, they going to send you out into the field to do some real reporting and then get to it. You're not just going to be hosting presidential debates. You're going to be out there chasing fires. That's what come with the big bucks. And a lot of y'all don't want to get the big bucks. And so this is the reason why you sitting at home. Anderson Cooper get the big dog money. And so that's why he out there chasing fires with his good hair. But you thought he was just going to be sitting in the crib all day and they was going to be making all of that money? No, this is why he get the big money. This is why.
So if that car so look, you can see the back tires are aflame. So it's very possible there'll be some sort of ignition from the gas. So we'll move a little bit more over here. These cars have already exploded, but it's so strange. I mean, there's cars parked on the street that have not been touched, and hopefully won't be. But yeah, it's the size of this is obviously something that look, people in Los Angeles in this area, they're used to fires. They've seen this before. This is something that they have not seen. It may
ain't moved either.
I don't know. We'll have to look at the historical records, but it is certainly up there with some of the worst fires. And the fact that there are, there's this fire. There's obviously the Palisades, which is the larger fire. I mean, this was called the smaller fire, and in terms of damage so far, it probably is. There's, I believe, 1,000 structures they've said in the Palisades. I don't know at this
I'm going to get there, PT.
point what the count is, and frankly, any count that authorities give you, as you see, I mean, it's changing by.
They said, Anton, for $20 million a year, would you hit the field like this? For $20 million a year, I hit all fields. I'm going to be in Haiti. Hey, man, there's people over there getting killed. There's barbecue over there. 20 M's a year? You telling me all I got to do is pull up a microphone? Psst. Y'all work harder than that in the plant. I see y'all in the hospital with y'all back hurt. For 20 M's a year, 20 M's a year, I will be out there reporting on fires every day. I will be a fire chaser. I'll be a tornado storm watcher. Whatever it is that you think that makes sense, I will be out there. And you would too. If somebody man, 20 million? Are you crazy? Y'all act like $20 million is like $20. $20 million a year? Me and Anderson will be out there together, holding hands, trying to figure it out. I will go out there and save people for $20 million a year, boy. I'll be out there tomorrow. Give me $20 million. I will be in LA tomorrow for $20 million.
By the minute.
What's wrong with y'all?
At the whim of these flames and the whim of these embers.
Anderson,
wow.
This is Boris Sanchez. I'm just kind of concerned for your safety. I mean, these are very serious images behind you, and you are very close to flames. You spoke about sort of the process of getting to where.
Then. Let's go over here.
Yeah,
I see dudes risk way more than that just being in the hood. You more likely to get killed at walking to the corner store in the hood than you are to be chasing fires in California. Nobody worried about no fires in California. California, I'm from Detroit. I did it for free just to go to the corner store. I ain't worried about that. You give me $20 million? I'll be in the Palisades, Hollywood. What city is this? Altadena? Be all up in there.
Of getting to where you are and how eerie it was that it seemed like life was just going by like another day not far from where you are. And we'd spoken to residents not far from where you are now who discussed difficulty that they had in getting out. I do wonder, is there a safe passage of egress from where you are? Would you be able to get out safely? Would residents, like that woman that you spoke to, be able to get out without issue?
Yeah. Yes, there are streets. I mean, the fire is spreading in a certain direction, so there are streets. We have a lot of people who are watching this. We obviously have teams who are very experienced in this. I do not include myself in that, but we have much smarter people around me. But there are ways to get in and out. Yes, there are, in answer to your question. So, this is obviously, there's police here, there's fire personnel here. And this actually, it's strange to say, this corner is now better than it was in terms of safety for anybody on it than it was 30 minutes ago. That location, even that location where we were 5 minutes ago, that's a much less safe location now, just in the last few seconds, because now the winds have picked up and that whole area is just completely blackened. And you can hear that crackling.
Shout out to Anderson Cooper out there getting to that bag, taking care of business on top of it. I think that Anderson Cooper is doing a great job, but prayers up for the people over there in California. For those of y'all that think that y'all safe, y'all do realize that they've been reporting for the last 3 days that it's 0% contained, right? Y'all do realize that they're reporting that it's 0% contained. And don't wait for something to happen to you before you make the adjustment. Get the heck up out of there, bro. We get to see 5 presidents together today. I don't care nothing about them. I don't care nothing. Listen, y'all the ones that's caught up in nostalgia. I don't care about these people. I don't care about Bush. I don't care about Clinton. I don't care about Obama. I don't care about Biden. I don't care about none of them. I don't need to see them together. Right now, I would like for Biden, for example, to be focused on what's happening over in California instead of at a funeral. Personally, that's just me personally. I know that it's a way that we're a standard and all of that stuff. I want to hear Biden and Kamala Harris working hard to make sure that we have a peaceful transition and for them to be figuring it out over in California. We get to see 5 presidents together. They not famous to me. They famous to you. Y'all pedestalizing them people. I don't even like half of them presidents. I think that Clinton was trash. He sold off America and mortgaged his future in order to get the profits now, and he was the architect in the very beginning of the person that started the housing crisis and sold off all of our companies to China. I don't like Bush the second. I think that he was trash, and I absolutely think that he has something to do with what's happening with 9/11. That's just my personal opinion. I don't like Biden, obviously. I think that he was trash. We just recently seen him over the last 4 years, and I don't even think he in his right mind. Obama, ditto. Shout out to the gayest president of all time. I don't care nothing about none of these people. For some reason, y'all pedestalize on them. We get to see 5 presidents. I get to see 5 demons. I get to see demons. That's what I'm seeing. I don't look at it the same way that y'all look at it. I look at them as demons. These are people that don't get me started, dog. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I don't have the same regard for them as y'all do. It's people dealing with real life issues out here. I'd rather be talking about Joy Taylor than watching Obama and them over there at a funeral. I don't care nothing about them. But that's just me. That's just me personally. I don't like none of them people. None of them, including Bush with his Republican ass that sold America short. I believe that Bush is the worst president of my lifetime. Biden is right up there with him. I don't think that history is going to be kind of Biden. But that's just me. Anyways, again, let me read some of these super chats and we'll get on from there. Y'all pedestalizing them stupid presidents. I don't care about them. It was put there. They was puppets. Morning, family. Shout out to Victor Williams Jr. De Negro says, I've never seen anything like this. I've always wanted to visit LA, but I now wonder, is it even going to be still there now? See, we might have to do a switch up. of where we gonna do our first meetup this year, because I was thinking LA. I was thinking out there in California somewhere. And that's what me and Q was talking about, but we might have to switch that up. I don't know what we're gonna do now. Jones FX 426 says people are saying that bad actors are setting fires near homeless camps for them to take the blame. I have no idea. Why hasn't Mystique asked them if they're okay yet? Chris Cunningham says, there goes Cam $300 million homes she wanted to build that she asked for. But Desmond Lucas says, hey, Ukraine, can we get some of our money back? Nope, already spent. Abe the Hunter says 11 months ago that whole area was flooded with water. They should have developed structure and to capture that flood water for drier days. I call this piss poor planning. Shame on them officials. Raider Gang says 3 days prior, Newsom said he wanted a balanced budget. How much money will they get again from FEMA? We are witnessing the second biggest financial fraud of all time, just my guess. Enforcer 2K9 says America's biggest cities are falling: NY, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, and Chicago. K. Cooper says, Anton going to get the money. I'm going to get all of that 20 M's. Messy Mathematician says there's something about seeing a palm tree engulfed in flame that's extremely unsettling to me. This is terrifying. I agree with you, Messy. I agree with you. Modelo says, yep, he nervous reporting on those fires. I would be nervous too. I'm still getting out there. Vaughn LA23 says, Happy New Year, AD. Is sad, but they have Karen Bass to thank for this fire. The good firefighters for not taking a good vaccine and no water. I'm going to get to her today. I promise you. Mr. Guap says, as crazy as this may sound, the problem is there is not enough water being stored naturally due to the eradication of beavers in the 1800s. The Hoover Dam is dried up, and they are reintroducing beavers to store water naturally. Jason M says, I grew up in Altadena, and man, this is bad. All of them, the old town Pasadena is destroyed. Catastrophic is an understatement. The loss is insurmountable. Vaughn says, first LGBTQ fire, chef, trash. Levi Apparel says, Anton, I agree. The president can deploy the army. Neutral says, Anton, morning Anton prayers to all affected by the LA fires. I agree. All right, so let's pivot for a second. Let's go into this no water conversation. So Trump is holding them accountable and saying that he's been warning for a long time that there's no water over there in California. Check it out.
We have to go live to Capitol Hill.
In other words, we gave it to him
where
for
President
nothing.
Trump's
The most
speaking.
expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively speaking. The most expensive, by far. We lost 38,000 people. They gave it to him for $1, and then they charge more for our ships. It's not going to happen. And China's running the Panama Canal. That's not going to happen either.
Mr. President, on California, Mr. President, during the pandemic, you often said that you didn't believe that you should bail out blue states that you believe were being mismanaged. Given your criticism of Governor Gavin Newsom, are you willing to work with him, and do you believe that federal aid should be provided to California for as long as it takes?
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, you know where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him when he was governor. We worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem, because you're talking about big, big dollars.
He's absolutely right. You know, I remember seeing Trump on Joe Rogan, and this was during the presidential election. And Trump was talking about how there was no water in California, and it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when California was going to catch hell for it being mismanaged and then basically being put in a position to where these wildfires was going to ruin and burn everything down. That you wouldn't even be on, or you wouldn't even be in a position to stop the wildfires once they started to spread in the United States of America and in Los Angeles or wherever those wildfires was going to be. And it's stupid. It is so dumb that our legislators, it almost seemed planned. It almost seemed planned that this whole thing is playing out the way that it's playing out. It almost seemed planned. I remember when Trump, a long time ago, was talking about there was no water in California. Am I the only person that remember him saying it? Let me see if I can find the Joe Rogan podcast where he was talking about it. Let me see if I can find that.
What's your message for President Biden? He says he
Oh, I thought it was ridiculous that he did that, but we have more important things to talk about. Liz Cheney was, she lost in the Republican Party, as you know, in her state, by the biggest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress. She lost by like 42 points. Nobody's ever lost like that. So I don't care about Liz Cheney. I care about these people.
President deportations. What does day one need to look like for the Trump administration?
Number one, we're closing the border. It's going to be closed very strongly, and it's going to be closed. And we're going to have to take people out that are criminals. We have people from jails from all over the world and from mental institutions. And as you know, they're going to have to be removed. And it's one of the reasons I won the election in a landslide. The people of this country don't want murderers walking down their farms or their streets or their cities.
One day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it.
And Wiley's Chelada.
I'm looking for the actual clip of Joe Rogan and Trump.
I felt like it could fall apart at any moment. It was always like, I was always waiting for the next earthquake or the next fire. I was evacuated 3 times from my house from fires. Yeah. Last one, 2 houses in front of my house burnt to the ground. Right in front of my house.
What the
Yeah, the wildfires were crazy.
Yeah, it's scary, right?
Scary. When you see them coming, you know, I came home from the Comedy Store, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and me and my wife were looking out the window at the fire coming over the hill. And we made an early call. We said, look, if we're wrong, we come back, the house is still here, but let's just get the out of here now.
All right, I found a clip. This is 8 years ago. 8 years ago. All right? This is 8 years ago, this clip that I'm about to play y'all. This is from CNN, from Trump, 8 years ago, and he talking about the water crisis over there in L.A.
Donald Trump telling California voters that he is going to solve the state's 5-year drought.
We're going to solve your water problem. You have a water problem that is so insane. It is so ridiculous, where they're taking the water and shoving it out to sea. And I just met with a lot of the farmers who are great people, and they're saying, we don't even understand it. They don't understand. Nobody understands it. And I've heard this from other friends of mine in California where they have farms up here and they don't get water. I said, oh, that's too bad. Is it a drought? No, we have plenty of water. I said, what's wrong? Well, we shove it out to sea. And I said, why? And nobody even knows why. And the environmentalists don't know why. Now they're trying to protect a certain kind of 3-inch fish.
Trump did not go into detail about how officials would open up the water, nor what science supports the claim that the drought is not real. But he did tout himself as a champion of the environment, saying, quote, I've received many, many environmental rewards, really, rewards and awards.
That was 8 years ago when he was warning them. And again, I remember on Joe Rogan's podcast where he was talking about the problem that they had when it came to the fires. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. I know I can't pull it up. Let me go back to this original video. We'll go from there.
With it on live.
As you know, in her state, by the biggest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress. She lost by like 42 points. Nobody's ever lost like that. So I don't care about Liz Cheney. I care about these people.
President Trump, millions of deportations. What does day one going to look like in the Trump administration?
Number one, we're closing the border. It's going to be closed very strongly, and it's going to be closed. And we're going to have to take people out that are criminals. We have people from jails from all over the world and from mental institutions. And as you know, they're going to have to be removed. And it's one of the reasons I won the election in a landslide. The people of this country don't want murderers walking down their farms or their streets or their cities. As you know, we had thousands of people that murdered other people that were in jail that were released into our country. Many of those people murdered more than one person, many of them, about 42% supposedly. We want them out of our country, and we're going to get a country back again, and we're going to be really governed by common sense. These are the principles of common sense. We're not going to be governed by stupid people. We're going to common sense. We're going to be respected all over the world again very soon.
We got to change the way that we think about things, and we got to change the way that we do business. Honestly, we got to change the way that we do things, because it's a lot of people that suffer from the decisions on a regular basis that these politicians are making. And I think that Gavin Newsom is one of the worst governors of all time. Has to be one of the worst governors of all time. Trump warned him. They've been telling y'all for the last few years. Again, I guess that Biden is over there somewhere at a funeral, but he hasn't really spoken about anything. But we're going to get to that in the next segment, because I want to break down exactly what this leadership is saying over there in California. But before I do that, let me read a few super chats. Lachunsky Jones says, been a while, my brother. Been on the grind after our last coaching call almost 2 years ago. Got everything set up. We'll be going back to school for software engineering this year. Shout out to Lachunsky Jones. Preacham Talk says, Anton, what up? Q, for real, for real. What up, though? Desmond Lucas says, save the smelt, let Cali melt. That's crazy. Speeds the Beast says, hey, brother, keep in mind, Cali is the most godless state in the United States of America, and the city of New Orleans is right behind them. I'm just saying, y'all think that California is the most godless state? Chat, do y'all think that California is the most godless state? If you had to pick a state inside of the United States of America that you would say is the pit of America and the most godless state, what state would you pick? Y'all would say it's California? What other state is there? Let me see. Somebody said, does Flint have clean water? Do y'all even know how the Flint water crisis happened in the first place? The Flint water crisis had nothing to do with a lack of clean water. It had everything to do with the pipes. It was the pipes and the water sources. So a lot of people don't understand that, but I don't know. Anyways, neither here nor there. Y'all think that, wow, everybody is saying Cali. Cali, Cali, Cali. Let me see if I see anybody that say anything different than Cali. I see some NY, Florida, New York. Y'all think New York is more godless than California? No way. No way. No freaking way. Atlanta. Atlanta is not a state. Georgia is a state. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say Atlanta. Atlanta is not a state. We saying states. Louisiana, y'all think that Louisiana is more godless than California? No way. No way. No way that New York is worse. Oregon, Washington, somebody said Ohio. I don't know where y'all got Ohio from. Louisiana, Washington, Arkansas. Arkansas because of some sundown towns. Y'all need to stop watching so much TV, bro. Honest to God. Real talk. Because of some sundown towns. China is not a state, but okay. Nevada? Well, Las Vegas is more of a tourist destination, so that's a little bit different. I would say California is the top of the list. DC is worse, Chocolate City? Is literally called the city of Los Angeles. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Yes, 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 yes. I'll rock with that. All right, and I don't think there's no other argument for that. I don't think there's no argument for that. The city of Los Angeles, that's a heck of a statement right there. That gave me chills a little bit right there. Honestly, that literally just gave me chills because I never thought about that before. The city of Los Angeles. Fallen Angels. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. That's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. I would say California is at the top of the list. I would definitely say California, for me right now, is at the top of the list. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I love the interaction from the chat. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm just as much as y'all chatting too. Based on surveys, Cali is. That's what the people in the chat is saying. Over 4,000 people. California fires are absolutely terrifying. Asmund Gold TV. Fast forward, he has a clip with Joe Rogan. Thanks, Anton, for what you do. Chad for Moore says, good morning, Ada. Yeah, Joe Rogan got the heck up out of there. I think he had moved to Texas. Tulare Lake was diverted for agriculture and ended up drying out in the 1800s. It has been reappearing and disappearing due to the weather cycles. Happy Girl says, I had a Lyft driver from Oakland, California. He said they have a lot of witches there. They got a lot of witches in Louisiana, too. Systematic or whatever, churchless versus godless is different. Godless, there's a lot of churches. That don't necessarily mean that they believe this, y'all. FPSD says Cali is all about God. When you get away from the cities, there's more conservatives in Cali than any other state by the numbers. I got to do some research on that. People lighting people on fire in NY wins. Wrong, Los Angeles, City of Angels. I don't know about that. Y'all took out Kobe out there. Y'all made me feel some type of way. It's funny because I put it up on my X. I'm usually always saying Twitter, but I put it up on X. I posted it yesterday, and I said I was scrolling up my timeline, and I seen a video. It was the last video of Kobe and Gigi, and it was the last game that they visited in Los Angeles. That junk made me feel some type of way. Is that crazy? That I seen a video of Kobe yesterday? Maybe because I was sick and I thought I was dying yesterday. But I seen a video of Kobe. It was his last game with him and Gigi was there. And almost shed a tear yesterday. I genuinely almost shed a tear yesterday. And again, I don't know if it's just because I was all toe up and I was sewing up all day yesterday or whatever, but that junk bothered me. It really, like, even after all of this time, it still put a pit in my stomach. I think it's only been 2 celebrities that passed away in my lifetime. that I've ever like felt some type of way about. And the first one was Pac, but I was young. I was really, really young. I was like a young teenager. And then the second one was Kobe. When Kobe passed away, that hurt. And maybe it was just because his daughter was with him, but that was like Jesus Christ. I felt some type of way when I seen that video yesterday. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be here till I'm 85, and I'm going away with a woman on top of me. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Chat for more says recent times CA has been mismanaged due to the state not clearing the dry brushes, not having adequate firefighters, and cutting budgets. Yep, we about to talk about that right now. Los Angeles in English is the angels. Yeah, there's fallen angels too. Y'all know that, right? ADNO is not the whole Louisiana. I agree. That's why I couldn't throw Louisiana in there. All right, y'all. Let's get into the next segment of the show. Let's talk about California, not just with the no water. Let's talk about the leadership. I think that the leadership is important to explore. Karen Bass. Let's start with Karen Bass, y'all. Karen Bass has largely flew under the radar from being held accountable for a lot of things, but we're going to bring her to the front of the congregation today.
Mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is under intense scrutiny after she was abroad visiting Ghana when the wildfires broke out in the city. She was seen returning to the country at the city's airport, where she refused to comment on the situation.
Fire chiefs say that they're really stretched to the limit and running out of water. What have you got to say to that? Have you no response to that? Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Can you back up, appreciate it. Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
How do y'all elect these people into office? How do y'all look at her? Look at her. Look at her. She was in Ghana. And I was telling y'all on other conversations that when you get into leadership, whether it's public leadership or you get into leadership in corporate America or even in your household, you're not afforded the same luxuries as everybody else. You don't get PTO time. You don't get to take days off. You know, you are up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's what comes with leadership positions. She was in Ghana. In Ghana. Look at this lady. Karen Bass has gotten away with so much stuff because, for example, Karen Bass was one of the mayors that signed on to and advocated for sanctuary cities and illegal migration into these countries and into these cities. And she was one of the people that signed off right along with Brandon Johnson, right along with Eric Adams, right along with Mike Johnston down there in Denver, all of the places that was overrun by illegal migrants. She was a part of that whole crew. She was the one that was over there in Washington trying to stomp for more dollars and then more advocates for illegal migrants into her city. She has been flying low and getting away with so much. And I would actually give her credit for being able to manage the type of scrutiny that she's gotten over these years, considering that she's a part of LA. Nobody really hung it on her head for the amount of money that was going into homelessness over in Los Angeles via Gavin Newsom. Yet they were building $165 million permanent homeless shelters, permanent homeless housing over there on Skid Row. She has literally skated under the radar, and now she was in Ghana while everything was burning over in her own city. Meanwhile, your boy Gavin Newsom, he had a lot to say as far as hitting back at Trump when Trump said that he had warned him about the whole water crisis that was happening over in California in the first place. Check it out.
What's the latest?
Well, 5 dead, likely more. Just complete and utter devastation. I've been in a lot of these fires, a lot, going back to Paradise, and this approximates Paradise. It's not a numeric, it's just a feeling, sense of loss.
Somebody said it doesn't matter if she was over there. It matters how fast she got back. No, it matters if you over there. It does. Because if you're not over there for a business, if you're not over there to take care of business, dog, running a major city is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to be a servant leader. You have to be on the ground. You got to be in the mire. You got to be on top of things. You got to really let the people see you. Being a leader of anything, let alone a city, is a visibility. It's a job that's based off of visibility, encouragement, and good management. Visibility, encouragement, and good management. People got to believe in you. People have to see you. They got to see you leading from the front. And it's almost like, again, in Gladiator, where the son drove up after the battle was over and was like, "Father, have I missed the battle? Father, have I missed the battle?" You don't get the same luxuries to be able to go on vacation and go to Ghana when you are a civic leader. You don't have the same grace. You don't get grace when you're a leader. You have to be in the mire 100%. When you commit to something like that's why people always say, "Anton, would you ever run for mayor or something like that?" Or no, not at this point in my life, because I would be doing the city a disservice by not being available for everything that the city would need me for. They need somebody that is dedicated, that wants better for the city than they want for themselves. I don't want better for the city than I want for myself. I'm selfish right now. I'm in a selfish phase. And I think that a lot of us, and I say it all the time, you need to be selfish before you can be selfless. And that's the reason why a lot of these city leaders are failing the people, because people are looking to get a leg up and they're looking to benefit themselves politically instead of being focused on what's best for the citizens, knowing that they're going to be blessed as a result of it. I cannot put halfway effort into anything that I do. I have to be 100% present 100% of the time. And if that is not something that you're willing to commit to, then opt out. Opt out and find and endorse somebody that can do it, and then you support them. But when you are operating in selfishness, which everybody, until they get themselves together, need to be operating in selfishness, because you cannot pour out of an empty cup, you need to opt out. There is no personal time. There is no you when you're serving the people. That's why it's very difficult for you to be with somebody that is in a leadership position, because you are going to come second to their purpose. You are going to come second to their purpose until there is a time where you can dedicate everything to it, opt out of it because it's not for you. And you can't be a leader that move in that way. Go ahead and accomplish everything you need to accomplish. Go ahead and get yourself together, get your money right, put yourself in a great position or whatever, to where you can focus 100% on that job. You cannot halfway do it. You can't be a part-time mayor and be talking about the benefits. It don't even matter about the benefits. You got to be in there 100%, especially when it's a major city like a Los Angeles. What y'all talking about?
Loss, place, belonging.
Still no containment.
No, we're at zero containment. The winds have been a little bit more favorable, as you've seen in the last few hours. So we've got the helicopters back up. We've got some fixed-wing aircraft. Out on the coasts, it's a little different. It's pretty intense. We have 23 aerial assets just at the Palisades, but a lot of them are not operational because of those winds. So
crazy.
It's a combination of challenges. That said, we've depleted all our resources. Northern California, we'd already pre-positioned on Sunday. Hundreds of personnel, special units, water tenders, dozers, engines, helicopters, and it wasn't enough. And now we're getting the mutual aid system, the EMAC system. Governors from all across the country are calling. Oregon sending a few dozen engines, and in Arizona, Utah. We're just grateful for all the support.
A lot of these firefighters I was talking to on the street, they've been working, 26, 27 hours. Are they that's just going to continue? I mean, there's enough folks here.
Yeah, I mean, we got a few thousand people working on this, and luckily we were fully staffed. U.S. Forest Service is staffed up traditionally at this time of year. Remember, we're in January.
It's supposed to be wet this time of year.
It's supposed to be wet. I mean, so this is anomalous. I remember.
Somebody said, how many resources the rich get after all of this, after this all come to conclusion, let alone the minority or the homeless? Do you really want to answer to that? Or do you want me to continue to move on? Because I can answer it if you want to. Y'all let me know what y'all want me to, if y'all want me to answer that, if you want me to just continue on with the show.
Paradise happened in November. I mean, so there's no fire season in California. It's year round. But to have this level, the acuity of fires is without precedent. These winds are without precedent. And the challenge is these winds are going to continue on and off, a little bit less intense. Last night, you got 80, 90 mile an hour winds. These guys were just up there to try to mitigate the embers going 2 miles and getting just to go a quarter of a mile to try to save some.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, it ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant.
Y'all want me to answer that?
I get to it. Local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local
authorities. Were saying part of it is the gravity, that it's these giant tanks on top of the mountains, which...
Yeah, well, they're going down. We were just with the team. They're getting the tenders down to Pasadena, filling things back up, coming back up. So it's just
Are aerial assets now able to fly?
Yeah, they've been the last few hours, particularly helicopters. Fixed wings been up a little bit earlier, but out on the coast it's been a little more stubborn because those winds, those winds are swirling. The challenge is, it's, you know, you can see that they can fly. It's not a question of turbulence or anything else. It's just the mitigations flying all over the place. So it's not. It doesn't have any benefit necessarily. So we've got National
that's crazy.
Guard,
You see that in the back?
working the rattlesnake teams. Benefit necessarily.
Look at, you see that house collapsing in the back? Check this out. The roof.
The mitigations flying all over the place, so it's not. It doesn't have any benefit necessarily. So we've got National Guard working the rattlesnake teams out there on the line.
That look insane.
We're also trying to bring them in to supplement some of the law enforcement efforts as well. It's all hands on deck across the spectrum. The biggest thing, though, Anderson, that happened today, sincerely, and you can appreciate it in a community like this, to get that direct individual assistance with the major disaster declaration within 36 hours of this incident from the president was a game changer for this community, for small businesses, et cetera. So,
don't look like a game changer to me. It looked like everything is burned down and collapsed.
not that we're thinking about the next phase, but we have to be thinking concurrently about the next phase is how we rebuild this community. But right now, we're in this mitigation phase. We're in the public safety phase.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families.
Don't direct. Don't misdirect. Don't
Churches
redirect.
burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Finally, your message to the folks here, to this community.
I mean, we have their backs, and we're going to be back, and this is going to be a long recovery process. But look, we have residents moving back into Paradise.
I absolutely despise Gavin Newsom. I despise him for you over in California. He's not even the governor over here in the United, because, you know, we all in this together. Unfortunately and fortunately, when things happen to people over in California, because you guys are a part of the United States of America, we look at y'all as brothers and sisters also. Even though y'all over here, you know, getting sassy, even though y'all voted against y'all own best interests, even though y'all continue to do the worst things for yourselves, even though y'all keep on trying to leave and ruin other people's cities, we still love y'all here in the United States of America. And to see y'all supporting this trash governor, and Trump warned you. He warned you. He said, let me work with you. See, it's not about what you do afterwards. See, it's too late. Everybody's houses is burned down. You can't be any more divisive than to lose at the rate that you're losing over in California. It's not about rebuilding at this point. Ain't nothing to do. It ain't about fixing. It ain't about coming together and being together and none of that. No, it's too late for that. At this point, it's about survival and accountability. When you get to this point, it's survival and accountability. Okay, we want to know if you can survive and whose fault is it. And Trump warned you. You can get in your feelings. You could try to act like, oh my God, or whatever. This your state. You responsible for the state. You responsible for the state of how things are. You're responsible for mitigating and also putting the firefighters in a position. Karen Bass was over there cutting the budget of firefighters in Los Angeles in order to, Jesus Christ. It's your fault. Responsibility goes up, not down. Responsibility goes up, not down. Somebody asked a question and they said, let me revisit this. How much support the rich get after all this comes to conclusion, let alone the minority or the homeless? All of it. All of it. They don't want to pay us the taxes. They don't want to employ the jobs. They don't want to keep their community going. They're the ones that pay the majority of everything that goes into your homeless fund, all of that. They get all of the support. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let alone the minority of the homeless. Most minorities are the ones that are rich. What are you talking about? You didn't know that the majority of the people that become rich, the first-time millionaires, are the people that are the minority? And the homeless. What do you mean the homeless? Who started caring about the homeless? When did they start caring about homeless people? I don't think y'all understand how this thing works. We are in a capitalistic society. If you do not have value, listen, don't ask me how much the minority or the homeless get. You walk past them every day and you will not touch them. You will not shake their hands. You don't even give them $5. You don't even offer them a meal. Don't expect anybody to do anything more than what you do. You don't check for the homeless either. For some reason, y'all think that just because y'all type hard on the internet, that gives you more validity or it makes you more righteous than anybody else. It doesn't. It doesn't. You don't get it. We live in a society where, and I'm talking about the world, where the people that thrive and the people that add value are the ones that are loved, and the people that don't are lepers. The people that add value. Okay, let me ask you a question. Because I know y'all don't like this answer, but I'm going to tell you the truth. If you got a person that employs a bunch of people and he contributes to the Boys and Girls Club and he has jobs and he has visibility and he's doing all of these great things for the community and he runs up a bag and he pays huge property taxes inside of the city, is he more valuable than the person that's homeless and is begging for money and is walking down the street every day always talking about who owed them something? Who's more valuable? Who needs to be, if you got to pick between the two, who gets saved? Who's going to get saved? If you got to pick between the two, the person that adds the most value to society or the person that's just milling around, who's going to get saved? Just a question. Because I know this is the see, these are the uncomfortable conversations that you don't want to have. These are the uncomfortable conversations that you don't want to have. You said Jesus is watching. I know. That's why I'm telling you the truth. I know. That's why I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I love it when Jesus is watching because he believes. He believes the same way that I do. That this is the nature of how society is operating and working. Those that are productive, those that are it's no different than regular everyday life, man. It's no different than every regular day life. The ones that are productive get noticed. The ones that don't. It don't say that it don't say nowhere in the Bible that the poor is his people. It don't say nowhere in the Bible that the poor is his people. That's not what the word says. And I need you to stop remixing the word to mean something that it's not. That's not what it says. That's not what it says. It didn't say that just because you have an inability to manage your finances and you became a dope fiend that you his people. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. Because it doesn't say that if you are a degenerate gambler and you a meth head that you his people. Because it's a lot of poor people that just mismanage their funds. It's a lot of poor people that just get out of prison for doing dumb stuff. That's not what it means. For some reason, you think that just because you poor, you righteous. You poor and you stupid. And you gonna bust hell wide open. For some reason, you think because you homeless that you righteous. You not. You broke, you poor, and you going to hell all at the same time. Because your circumstances is based off of your decisions, especially here in the United States of America. You think that just because you dusty, that makes you more righteous than everybody else. And I'm here to tell you that is the biggest lie that you've ever been told in your entire life. Now, that doesn't mean that millionaires and billionaires are going to be going to heaven either. That's not what it means. Because some of them is dusty and they've been doing stuff to get to where they at that's not conducive for society either. But let's be clear. Just because they going to hell don't mean that you not. Let's be clear. Just because they doing something wrong and they benefited from here on earth don't mean that they're not going to have to be accountable for it. You got to be accountable for everything that you do. And just because you dusty as hell don't mean that you going to heaven. It don't mean that you God's people. It don't mean that you God's people. Just because you dusty and you poor and you stupid and you keep committing crimes against your brother and you keep going to jail and you keep being homeless every day and you a nuisance on society and you ain't never contributed to nothing except for taking from everybody else, then you wasted your earth, you wasted your breath on this earth doing nothing productive. You don't deserve anything except for that cardboard bench that you sleeping on. And just because somebody give you grace don't mean that you righteous. I ain't hear nothing about poor people is anybody people. Show me where that scripture is. I want to see it. Show me where that scripture is. I'd love to see it. And I'll say I'm wrong. Cool. I'll say I'm wrong. It don't say nothing about the poor should inherit the earth. It said the meek shall inherit the earth. Meek didn't say nothing about the poor is going to inherit the earth. Nothing. And that's why, see, you're not talking to a person that's not familiar with his word. I study it every day. Didn't say nothing about the poor should inherit the earth. Nothing. I didn't read that part. I could be off though. Maybe I misread the scripture over the last 40 years multiple different times. I didn't hear nothing about the poor is going to inherit the earth. Where y'all get that at? Y'all misquoting the word of God too? Is that what that's what y'all said? It say God don't care about productivity, he cares about your heart. That's a lie. That's a lie. Biggest lie that you'd have never been told. That's a lie. That's a lie. God don't care about your productivity. He cares about your heart. Lies. Lies. More lies to make y'all feel good and to make y'all feel like y'all doing the right thing. Your heart is black. Your heart is cold. Your heart is evil. And the only way that we know that you love God is how it is that you're doing things on this earth. It's the only way that we can substantiate it. It's how you love your neighbor. It's how productive you are. It's how and we've had countless examples all throughout the word of God. But see, you didn't read the whole Bible. You got cliff notes from somebody that told you, to somebody that told them, and they played a game of telephone and they messed up the word. Keep lying. Keep lying on God. Keep lying on God. It's your heart. Niggas be lying, bro. He care about hearts. He care about your heart. No, he cares about whether you actually doing the thing that you're supposed to do. It's action. He said, if you suffer with me, then you will reign with me and suffer for righteousness' sake, not for your own sake. I ain't got time to be preaching to y'all today. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and we're going to get on with the show. You ain't going to be lying to me. You're lying on God. The Green Monster says, most godless places state Cali, New Orleans Street, anything street named Martin Luther King Jr. That's a fact. MLK and across the whole United States of America is a godless street. Don't name no street after me after I'm gone. Oh, there is Karen. I was wondering when she would show up when DEI goes wrong. Ryan Jackson says, if you can't lead during difficult times, you aren't competent to lead. Facts. And everybody not a leader. Bass's husband was Hector. She wants more Brown. Asia Thomas says Bass is planning her exile with taxpayers' money. Most Hate Chris says, I'm about to play Selfish by some Slum Village. Thanks to you, bro. Thank you for being here live, sir. I'm here. And all over 5,000 of us. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Abe the Hunter says, I wonder if this house burned down. Just the thought. Vaughn says, AD, when Jack A lead, the innocent pays. LA wake up. That's a fact. Stephen Slayer 1 says, Anton, why all these female governors and mayors have the most corrupt and tore up states in the United States of America? Because women are not supposed to be in positions of leadership. Oh. I see we just going to have a reckoning today. Don't worry, I got time. Because women, I'm going to have all of my ladies is going to be mad at me. Because women are not, doesn't mean that you can't, doesn't mean that. Is there anomalies? Absolutely, because women are not supposed to be in these positions of leadership. Woo! I guess we're going to have a truth session today. Huh? Women are not supposed to even be putting themselves in these situations in the first place. Oh, they didn't tell you that in church with your female pastor? They didn't tell you that in church with your female pastor, that women are not supposed to be in these positions of leadership? They're not built for it? Kevin Samuels didn't tell y'all that pressure was made for shoulders, not for hips? I see we gonna have an interesting after hours tonight, huh? We gonna have an interesting after hours tonight, huh? Are we gonna talk about it on after hours? I'm about to write that down as a subject right now. Yep. Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. We gonna get y'all right. I know everything is out of whack and everybody feels like anybody can do what they want to do. We gonna get y'all right. So much I want to say right now. Oh, man. Y'all want to know why this whole country is in flames right now? Because we out of pocket, we out of purpose, and we got too many people doing things that they're not supposed to do when they're not supposed to do it. That's why this whole country is in flames. It's in flames. And y'all almost wanted to vote in Kamala Harris to run this entire country. Imagine what that would have been like. But masculinity, yeah, I'm feeling better, Blue Butterfly. Masculinity is back. We gonna get y'all there. Let me read the rest of these You know what? I'm gonna come back to the super chats. Let's go over to the next part of the show. I get to it. Don't worry about it. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. See, you gonna be sitting there saying, you wouldn't believe how many guys come up to me and say, man, my girl say that she don't like you, bro. I said, and I wasn't saying it for her. I was saying it for you. I wasn't saying it for her. I was saying it for you. My girl said that she hate me watching you, bro. That's cool. That's because now she gonna have to be a better woman than she was prior to you introducing yourself to me. Because now you got standards. And now she can't be sitting around being frumpy and angry all day and telling you what it is that you can and can't do and tell you to bring your paycheck home so that she can spend it. Don't worry about it. We gonna get you there. Let's say who's to blame for these Cali wildfires. I haven't reviewed a CNN panel, especially one with Jasmine Crockett on it lately. Let's get into it. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
President Trump has raised the issue of FEMA not having enough money, et cetera. This is your territory. Is the Congress going to fully fund what California needs in order to handle these fires to recover from them if it's needed?
Absolutely, we should. This, of course, is a town that constantly disappoints people, but shame on all of us if we don't acknowledge that these disasters hit every state, and this is a really big one. People need to expect that their state, local, and federal government are going to be there, and we need to be.
I think that members always end up coming together when it comes to these disasters and doing the right thing by the people that are there. What really becomes the glue that puts it all together is the actual execution of the resources. And that's something that I think members of Congress need to do a much better job about, is making sure that the money gets on the ground to the people who need it the most in the manner and the speed at which
And
they
just
need it.
in December, we did together, Republicans and Democrats, refill much of that disaster fund. This is going to take a lot of money out of that.
So we are in, it's January 8th. President Trump is going to be inaugurated in just a few days.
About to say.
The incoming president, I hate to say it, but he has a history of threatening to not fund fire relief, specifically to California.
What did they do to Puerto Rico? I mean, we spent historic amounts of money on Puerto Rico.
Let me just play what President Trump said.
I love him.
This was just
He
in
always
October
call them out
about
on ABS. Love it when he called them out on ABS.
actually fires in California.
We're going to take care of our farmers. We're going to take care of your water situation. And we'll force it down his throat. And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have.
What's the problem with that? Hey, listen, if you don't take care of the farmers, if you don't get your water situation together, if you don't do this, why would we continue to give you money on the back end when you're not being proactive of what we told you make the most sense on the front end? Apparently, you don't want federal dollars because you're going to do what you want to do anyway, but you expect for the American taxpayers across the entire nation to come and save you. And see, that's the part that people don't have a conversation about. Y'all keep acting like this is y'all money. This is all of our money. When the federal government got to come in and save California, when the federal government got to come in and save you with disaster relief, this is our money. This ain't just singular to California anymore. When Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass and all of these stupid mayors and their entire cabinet and these legislators don't do what they supposed to do, when they cut in certain budgets, when they then put themselves in this position where they then cause trillions of dollars in damages, and we got to keep rebuilding you, but you're not doing the thing that we told you to prevent this in the first place. You don't even have no water. Why should the American taxpayers have to keep bailing y'all out just because you saying that you want it? I'm trying to understand what's the disagreement here? Hey man, take care of this, do this, take care of this business. This is the criteria that you need in order to continue to get these tax dollars. What's the disagreement? They played that clip like that was something against Trump. Hey man, if you want this fire money, this is what you got to do. You shouldn't even be needing this type of money if you do what we told you to do in the first place.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is that I would feel more comfortable if we decided to send additional resources to FEMA now before he is sworn into office. So my challenge, my charge to the newly elected Speaker of the House is let's get a bill on the floor. Let's come together just like we came together when it dealt with Georgia and North Carolina and Florida. And let's make sure that California has the resources without delay and make sure that there is no planned politics, because if you trust what he's...
You said that? Nabby says, Anton, Pacific Palisades is a small area compared to the whole of LA. Yeah, but they got 5 fires burning at the same time and it's 0% contained. So I'm not concerned with what's just happened because it just started this weekend. I'm concerned about what it's going to turn out to be if they ever start to get it contained, because right now everything is on fire.
Says he has already made it clear that he likes to pick and choose who it is that he wants to support. And while the Congress may come together, I don't know what he's going to do with the veto pen. So I think that we should get it done while we still have a President Joe Biden.
Look, the Congress and the president, whether they do it now or 2 weeks from now, is going to obviously fund this and take care of this, and they need to. It's important. However, I do think this. Policy changes should come along with this relief money here, with whatever it takes to rebuild and to fix. We have to look at the root causes, whatever forest management problems there are, whatever water problems there are. whatever issues happen in the local governance. Rebuilding here is a good thing, and everybody should support it, but we ought to, as taxpayers, expect necessary policy changes at the federal, state, and local level so that it doesn't happen again.
Does that include climate change and
And he's absolutely right. It's not just about funding the rebuilding effort or any of this type of stuff, because obviously we know that Trump is going to take care of that. And one thing that Trump has always said is that I'm the president of everybody, even if you didn't necessarily vote for me. He's the only president that don't even take a salary. He's never taken a salary. He's the only president that doesn't even get paid for his job. He doesn't even get paid for his job. But more importantly, we need to have legislation. We need to have proactive measures. We also need to revisit why we in this situation in the first place. And if it's a water issue, fix it. If it's clearing of the brush and all of this other stuff, fix it. I would rather see the money proactively go towards stuff that would allow for us not to have to, on the back end, fund so much money and say, hey, we got to fix this situation. If we can mitigate a lot of these problems, then we should. And why aren't we? And why is the only part of the conversation about rebuilding efforts? Everybody want to have a conversation once it hits, but nobody wants to talk about how we prevent it in the first place. He's absolutely right to call her up on her BS.
Clearly, we need to be good stewards of the environment. And America, I think, has a better track record on this front than most people give us credit for. The reality is, in the last few years, we've reduced our carbon footprint by more than the next 15 carbon-reducing countries combined. I would say this. Clearly, President Trump speaks from the stump in a very different way than I do. It said that you campaign in poetry and you govern in prose. We actually know how this guy is going to govern. He was president for 4 years. He didn't cut off funding. He didn't look at people whose homes were burned down and say, forget about it. You had a Biden sign in your yard, so we're just going to pass on by your home. Those things did happen in the last administration, probably in a narrow way.
Facts, especially with FEMA. And the woman that was fired as a result of it because she knew about it and she was participating in it, and they wouldn't even go to people's houses that had a Trump sign in front of it in the first place. That is a fact.
But I got to tell you, Donald Trump will be there to help out people in California. He was there 4 years ago. He'll be there now.
I'm just going to read one quote. We have several of them from his time in office, but just one as it relates to this. This is Kevin Carroll, a former Homeland Security official, told the New York Times and Politico and The Guardian, Trump absolutely didn't want to give aid to California or Puerto Rico purely for partisan politics. I hear what you're saying about the hurricanes, what happened in North Carolina and Florida. I do, though, think that there is a track record here of Trump, too, where his own aides, there are several others I didn't read, but his
What
own
track
aides
record? What is she talking about?
They had to convince him that there were votes there for him.
Well, I think what
there are no votes in Puerto Rico.
I think what's going to be
How was there
important,
votes in Puerto Rico?
Which is why they didn't.
But what did we do? I mean,
let me finish.
people make this
Excuse me,
allegation
Scott, let me
about Puerto
finish.
Rico,
What I
but it's
think
like we
what
funded
is going to be important is when the Senate is confirming those cabinet members.
That's what I was
speaking with them about what their policy ideas are and what they're going to do. Because when you're reading things like that, we recognize that it was the individuals who were there as experts, cabinet members, officials, who were able to convince the president to do certain things or convince him not to do other things. And we want to make sure that those great minds are still there for him to be able to provide that guidance and support so that when Congress does give bills, good people like Desi and others who are working on these things, to be able to put it in front of him to get him to sign it and to do the right thing.
I think that that's really the big issue, is that he was surrounded by what I would consider to be actual experts, people that had actual resumes talking of diversity, equity, inclusion, and people just get.
I'm going to play that for y'all one more time. I caught that at the end.
People that had actual resumes talking of diversity, equity, inclusion, and people just getting jobs and they're not qualified.
Did she just throw diversity, equity, and inclusion in there as a justification for the right people around Trump to help him make decisions and give him their expert opinion? Did she seriously just say diversity, equity, and inclusion? Let me see something. I just got to look up something real quick, because I want to hold some people accountable. Jasmine Felicia Crockett who has been a U.S. representative of Texas's 30th congressional district since January 2023. South Dallas, Central Dallas, and Dallas Love Field Airport. Y'all still voting in Jasmine Crockett from St. Louis, 43 years old? Seriously? Y'all still rocking out with Jasmine Crockett? Good God.
I mean, when you look at the people that he has decided to nominate for these posts, we're talking about people that have never served a day in a lot of these various agencies that he's now like, oh, you should go ahead and head this agency. He has specifically decided that loyalist is who he wants around him. People that will not give him that honest kind of reflective moment and say, you know what? This isn't what we do. And that is my biggest concern about this. And listen, I wasn't here serving as a member of Congress, so I can't say what he did and didn't do from an up.
So you don't know your history? Got it.
And personal perspective when he was in office before. But what I can say is what he threatens to do, along with the judgment that we've seen thus far going into this second administration, his judgment is way worse. I mean, looking at just the cabinet picks.
And somebody get Jasmine Crockett out of here, bro. And I agree, she is full of hate. I believe she is absolutely racist. I think that she is hateful. I don't think that she cares for anything other than black women. And I believe that she's liberal to her heart. And these type of people need to be driven out of office and voted out of office. And she need to go and get a regular everyday job. I think that she needs to go and get a regular everyday job. Real talk. That's just my opinion. Anyways, I want to show y'all why women shouldn't be in positions of leadership. All right, let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to come over. We're going to come back to this. We're going to come back. Because some of y'all, I could tell you a little bit bothered by the whole leadership conversation, but we'll get there. Shout out to Steven Slayer 1. I appreciate you. Smokey SGT says, if you want to know how the aftermath of the Palisade fire will play out, it will play out exactly like the Lana fires played out over there in Hawaii. I'm going to Hawaii this year. Picture is worth 1,000 words. Shout out to Kid Chameleon. Aja Thompson says Newsom wants it to burn to pocket taxpayer money. They're going to lose taxpayers. Did y'all see Obama chatting with Hitler? The haves and have-nots get right or get left. Shout out to my girl Jerry. Ain't no bunk beds and no casket. Shout out to you, Amen01. Chris Cunningham says they dusty this morning, Anton. We going to pray for them. Or we going to get everybody together. You know, you can't prevent people that only agree with you from being in here. And this is one of the reasons why we allow people to rock out, is because you got to fix the dusties. But if they don't get this word, then what makes you think that they're going to be able to change? They're not going to immediately take what you say and rock out. That's the thing about being dusty. It's a lot of dust in all of the different pockets of what they got going on. And so a lot of times, if a person is dusty, for example, and they have a problem with some of the things that we may be saying, you have to let them undust themselves, and it takes time. They're not going to overnight say, you know what? I'm leaving off of the Democratic plantation. I don't want to be dusty anymore. I don't want to be a homosexual anymore. I don't want to be a bottom anymore. It takes time. I've seen people on a regular basis. People come up to me all the time and say, Anton, I didn't like you when I first met you, but I stuck around. And so even though it doesn't seem like it's working because they may be rejecting the message, they getting it. It's changing their life. It's the reason why they keep coming back over and over and over and over again. You're not going to remove all of the trash that's in their life overnight. You got to allow for them to undust themselves over a period of time. So even if they let them chat, let them say, oh, I disagree with you. Oh my God, I still want to stay poor because I think I'm going to make it to heaven. No, they not. They lying to themselves. They don't want to stay poor because they think they're going to make it to heaven. They using that as a justification for why they poor. And so they make any excuses as to why they still staying poor. No, you poor because you made bad decisions, not because you're going to go to heaven. You still going to be in hell. You know what I'm saying? So let them rock. The more dusty people that we get in here, the more we know we executing on our purpose. You know what I'm saying? They going to fix themselves. They'll get there. Shout out to my girl, sister. Good morning, AB. You are correct. correct as always. Matthew 5:3 says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. In spirit. Shout out to my girl sister. Not poor in pocketbook. Rush King 19 says, you are not lying, AD. Some homeless people literally can give you all of you can give them all of the help and they will still make mistakes and end up homeless again. And smoking on that pipe. They listen to their sassy pastors in church. I know. The Millionaire Church Show. We gonna get it. Hallelujah. You keep it real, AD. Appreciate you. Shout out to Beast. Lachunsky Jones says, even Jesus said he's coming for his people first. But those are the people that saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, speaking in other tongues as the Spirit of God give utterance, and is living and executing on his truth and his righteousness. Because everything in the word is on condition. It's not just for, we'll get there. Shout out to Lachunsky Jones. Antoine says, you said it. The burden is on the shoulders, not hips, Anton. This is from the birth of humanity, and they still don't get it. Let them suffer. Go ahead and preach. The poor are going to always be here. Doesn't mean that they are more righteous. That's a fact. The nation is out of the Lord's order, and it shows. I agree. Liz says, high value properties ablaze, no water, deliberate poor planning. Reminds me of Hawaii, of course. I wonder if this is a land grab. Did someone say federal? Is that Magnetar? Ava Kiss says, an STL letting my sink drip just to ensure pipes don't freeze while people in California and St. Louis do not have any water is crazy. Lee Hub says, because it's California, most scenic state in the union. Kristen Marie. Shout out to Kristen Marie in the building. Kristen Marie says, God anointed Trump for his shift drain the swamp. That's a fact, though. What in the World TV says it's simply because women can't see the forest through the trees because of the trees that are burning in the forest, homes, and everything else. Chip Thompson says, Anton, the money is in rebuilding. The same thing we do with government contracts after wars. I like that. Bust down middle part laid to perfection, ain't it? Rush King 19 says, what Trump said is like, if I told fix your bald tires on your car so you don't crash in the rain. Facts. So you don't crash in the rain, and then you crashed and you asked me to help. You preaching. Y'all talking today. Jazz is the next joy. I still want to know what Trump said, not what a aide says. CNN is full of lies. Kyle Davis says, I'm willing to debate about women in leadership, especially in the church. God is a God of order. So you want to debate with me about women being in leadership? I'm willing to debate about women in leadership, especially in the church. God is a God of, so you saying you agree with me. I got you. Cynthia Haynes says, Anton, I want to thank you so much for contributing your much needed knowledge and wisdom. Your willingness is truly appreciated and respected. You are an extraordinary, remarkable man. Thank you, Cynthia. I love you too, baby. EJ Roger says they needed in brother Antoine Johnson, form, peace, and blessings. Thank you to EJ. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me get into this next story, okay? And this is important because I'm trying to emphasize a point here. I didn't know that we was going to go here today, but for whatever reason, I was talking about California fires, and then I just so happened to come across this story, and I said, you know what? I'm going to throw this on the end of the show. Usually I will put this in quick hits. Usually I will put this on the beginning of the show because I want to show the Dusties. But this time, for whatever reason, I felt led to put it on the back of the show. All right? So there's this woman in Wayne County. Wayne County is here in Michigan, Detroit, all right, and serving other cities outside Detroit also. But there's a woman that holds a leadership position in Wayne County, okay? And she makes hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. I want to play this for you. And then you guys tell me whether or not certain women deserve to be in leadership or if they've just been playing chameleon the entire time. Check it out.
We begin tonight with that Wayne County government official and her husband now facing charges. Welcome to 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Thank you for joining us tonight. 7 News Detroit has obtained the alarming surveillance video from inside a local gas station. It shows the official and her husband being arrested after an argument over a can of soda. That's according to police.
7 investigator Ross Jones is walking us through the hard-to-believe video and the charges the pair is now facing.
Thank you, sir. It's just after midnight on New Year's Day at a BP gas station in Farmington Hills, where a man is seen buying a can of Mountain Dew. The man is Larry Bradford, the husband of Alicia Bradford, Wayne County's director of parks.
This is $1.99. Okay, I should have $8 candy change.
But Bradford's husband thinks he's being overcharged, that the clerk is adding tax to his $1.99 drink, which actually turns out to be a 10-cent bottle deposit fee. Before long, another customer standing behind Bradford begins to chime in, and tempers quickly flare.
There's no tax on pop.
There is now.
Huh?
I said there is now.
On groceries?
Well, he's got proof right there.
Get in it. Ain't none of your business.
Well, you get out, man.
Who you talking to? You!
Quickly, the two begin fighting. At one point, Bradford can be seen using the can of Mountain Dew to strike the other customer. After a few seconds, Bradford leaves the store, only to return with a loaded 9mm handgun pointed at the other customer.
Release! Release! Say you sorry!
I apologize, sir.
Seconds.
So you walk out before we even get to her, okay? He get mad because it's a 10-cent bottle deposit here in Michigan. Meaning that whatever the cost of a Mountain Dew is, because it is a soda, it is a 10%. You can also bring the bottle back and get your 10 cent back after you drink it. There is a 10-cent bottle deposit. He gets mad at the clerk that's inside of the gas station. The man explains to him behind and say, hey, no, it's a 10-cent bottle deposit on it or whatever. He gets mad at the guy and say, hey, who you talking to? Mind your business. The guy said, I'm talking to you. What you talking about? They get into a scrap. He started hitting the guy with the Mountain Dew can. He leaves. All right. He leaves. He comes back with a pistol, tells the guy to get on his knees and start beating him up and hitting him while the guy is on his knees, forcing him to apologize. Okay. All right. Let's continue.
Later, Bradford's wife Alicia enters the store holding a gun of her own.
What happened? We argued. You came at me. What happened?
She has a gun in her hand. He got a gun in his hand. She got a gun in her hand. This is her husband with the hat on, with the dob on. She get out the car and come in with a pistol. Now, this is the director. The director of the Parks and Recreation Division of Wayne County. She get out the car, and yes, he has been waiting to pull that gun for a long time. You know when people go out and get their gun and they gotta go, they couldn't wait to use it. They couldn't wait for an opportunity. They just itching for it. She gets out the car with her pistol and walks in the store and point a gun at him also. Listen to her. He's standing there like a fool. Because see, let me tell you something. First of all, I wouldn't be in that position in the first place. Secondly, if that's my wife, what you doing getting out the car? The first thing I'm going to look at her and I'm going to say to her is, did I tell you to get out the car? Didn't I tell you to stay in the car? Because first of all, the guy was wrong in the first place. But secondly, now you double wrong because your chick is getting out the car and she pointing the gun at him too. Let's continue. Listen to what she say.
Say you sorry.
I apologize, sir.
Seconds later, Bradford's wife Alicia enters the store holding a gun of her own.
What happened? We argued. You came at me. What happened?
With her gun still in her hand, Alicia Bradford says she saw the man push her husband out of the store and asks if he tried to rob him.
I'm going to stand up and look for your
No,
face.
you're going to stay down there.
Girl,
You're going to stay down there.
This is ridiculous.
You're going to attack you for what?
Because we argued.
What were you arguing about?
The price of pop.
What did that have to do with you?
I did it.
At one point, according to police, Bradford's husband can be heard threatening to kill the man.
I should kill you. Hey, I can do something to you.
Alicia Bradford would
To a married couple, when I say a lot of times that you are a reflection of the person that you attract, and you're the reflection of the person that you married to, it could never be more pronounced than in this case right here. Two angry, disheveled woman and man. One of them who's been able to. Now think about this for a second. This is a woman that has what, $175,000 job? Base salary, $175,000 job, getting paid by taxpayers that's in a leadership position. Can you imagine the type of chameleon-like vibes that she has to operate with on a daily basis inside of her position in order to maintain that job? Because I don't see nothing leadership quality in this position at all. There is nothing leadership about this woman at all. But if you go by what they show you, right? For example, she's been showing this type of behavior as far as not being leadership quality for a long time. Here's an example. All right, here's an example for you. Same woman back in 2019. Wayne County Parks Director's stepdaughter collected $10,000 in park contracts. Alicia Bradford served a 15-day unpaid suspension. That's all she got. Stealing money from taxpayers. Stepdaughter of Wayne County Parks Director received more than $10,000 in work from the department from her mother. Runs over an 18-month stretch. And it probably would have continued had they not caught her. You know what's so funny about this woman? Is as I started to research her because I wanted to know more about her, she's a part of a sorority. Yes, she is. She's been honored on Black History Month. She's looked at as a leader. But yet here she is, out of pocket with a gun on a man, don't even know what's going on. And her husband is saying, I should kill you inside of a gas station over a 10-cent pop. Does that tell you leadership? Does that spell leadership for you? Does that spell leadership for you?
Called police, but when they arrived, it was Bradford and her husband who were both arrested. Later that day, the Oakland County prosecutor charged both with assault with a dangerous weapon and felony firearm. Wayne County Executive Warren Evans suspended Bradford without pay. It is not Bradford's first brush with controversy while working for the county.
Did you find it to be a conflict that your daughter was getting contracts from the department you oversee?
If it was conflict and it was disclosed, it was conflict, although I did not disclose it formally.
Back in 2019, we revealed how Bradford got into trouble after her stepdaughter collected more than $10,000 in county contracts from her own department. Bradford said she disclosed their relationship informally, but the county executive suspended her for 15 days.
There was an error on my part, and I encountered the repercussions from that.
Well, I did reach Alicia.
I can always spot a woman. I could tell by the way that a woman talks that she's unruly and she's not fit for leadership. Listen to her.
And I encountered the repercussions from that.
I can always tell. I can tell immediately whether or not a woman is fit for leadership or not. I can just tell by the way that they talk. Sassy, ashy, and ready to get that cash. Probably put in that position from diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Well, I did reach Alicia Bradford by phone yesterday. She declined comment on these charges, along with Wayne County Executive Warren Evans. Wayne County Commission Chairwoman Alicia Bell told me she was shocked to learn about the charges against Bradford and said the allegations against her are uncharacteristic, calling her professional and a hard worker.
Sister Cole gonna defend each other, ain't they?
Bradford and her husband received $50,000 personal bonds and are next due in court on January 13th. Obviously, we couldn't show you all the surveillance video. It is on our website right now at WXYZ.com. But just that escalated very quickly, just around 12:30 in the morning on New Year's Day, and it's tough to watch.
Thank goodness no weapons were fired, but oh, that is very...
You said, nah, her husband is in the wrong. They both in the wrong. So why do you want to remove responsibility from her because her husband was also out of pocket? CEO Tiff. CEO Tiff, why do you want to remove responsibility? Because she walked in with a pistol. She walked in with a pistol also. So that means that she's not also wrong, and you hold a position of leadership. Y'all do know that when you start to become more visible, you hold a position of leadership, that the stakes are higher, so you're supposed to move a little bit differently. You do know that, right? Like, I can't do some of the stuff that everybody else do because I understand that I'm in a position of leadership. You can't do what you want to do just because you want to do it. You can't walk around pulling pistols on people. You can't just go around getting into arguments with people. You got to learn how to de-escalate. You got to use your common sense. You got to pay attention to the fact that you're about to lose the bag for the family. You can't do what you want to do when you want to do it because you have more responsibility. I don't really understand why that's such a hard thing for people to figure out. I don't know, man. I don't know, dog. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. I guess y'all cool with. Personally, I wouldn't want my girl in a position of leadership like that. I wouldn't want my girl in a position of leadership like that. Like, I wouldn't want her responsible for an entire congregation at a church. Why would I want her to be dealing with all of that foolishness? Why would I want that type of stress on the women in my life? Anything that a woman does, she got to do it up under me. If I'm responsible for it, she got to do it up under me. Because if there's ever, because I got to be paying attention to what you got going on. And if there's ever a situation where I feel like I need to step in, I'm going to step in. You need to be able to come to me with questions. You need to be able to make adjustments. I need to be able to sit you down. I need to be able to put you on timeout because you're too stressed or this is going on. And you know what? That don't even make sense for you right now. You need to be under my covering because I know what's best for you. If you ain't never had a man, if he been too scared to tell you that he knows what's best for you, if you ain't never had a man that tells you, you know what? No. We not doing that right now because I know what's best for you. I know what's best for you. Hey. And he just point. If you listen, I know you ain't never experienced that before in your life because everybody tiptoe around you as you think you big and bad, but I shut your stuff down. I shut you down ASAP. If you ain't never had a man that said, hey, I know what's best for you, sit down. You're doing too much. You don't know what that feels like. You so busy being tough and in your masculine energy for your entire life. I ain't about to be sitting here. I don't. Who you talking to? Just sit down, girl. Because, see, I could read you. I could tell when you out of control. And sometimes we let you talk. We let you vent. We let you get off path. We let you go all, do all of that extra. And then at other times, because you know what you can get away with, too. And then at other times, hey, hold on. What's going on? If you ain't never had a dude sit you down, then you don't know what you're talking about. But if you just walking in and doing what you want to do with your size 12 shoes, walking in with pistols, I would be looking at you like, where you get that from? I don't know. I guess we all different. What you doing? Rita. What you doing? Okay. All right. See that? You see that? She stopped her Zoom meeting. Hey, what you doing? I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. I gotta go in. Come here. You on a Zoom meeting? What Zoom meeting? Okay, go ahead. Soft spoken, not loud, tiptoeing throughout the house, chilling, having a good time, and enjoying herself. You don't need to be out here in these streets. You don't need to be out here in these streets. You need to sit down and relax. Sit down and relax. Not doing all of that. Not going back and forth with you. I keep hearing your chick all in the background, in the back room. I can't believe he said that. I gotta tell your chick to shut up. Tell her to shut up. Listen, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You better when we don't hear you. Women are all right, I ain't gonna get into that. We gonna get into that tonight on After Hours, all right? We gonna get into that on After Hours tonight, okay? Women are much better being seen and not heard. I told y'all on the video yesterday that guys that got some sort of masculinity about them or some resources about them, we not interested in hearing from y'all all day. We want to see you. We don't want to hear you all day. Women are much more enjoyable being seen and not heard. That's just the honest to God truth. I know y'all don't like that. I know that bothers you, but I'm trying to tell you that the more that you talk, the more that you turn us off. I know you think you're intelligent. You want to have somebody that can connect with you mentally. I don't want to talk to you like that. I'm not kicking it with you like that. I'm not interested. Anyways, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and we gonna go home from there. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. Bruh tried to use a Mountain Dew as a as a twisted tea. Something wrong with their minds. Jermaine Boyd says, "What up, though?" GR's Infantry says, "The madness of the two." Twisted Logic in the building says, "All men think only white women can be leaders." No, I don't. I said women. I ain't say black women. And anyone else's DEI, yet look at the sisters of the world under male leadership, whether black men or white women. AR Smitty says, "So these old fools don't think that the store had cameras." One an example. Everywhere got cameras. Y'all got to start being a little bit more careful. Lock them up. I agree. Kid Chameleon says, "Show them the story of the lesbian couple who beat their child with a hammer, and when he suffered a stroke twice, shout out to the female leadership." Dame Smith says, "That's Jamisha." You can tell he never bought a pop there before. He never bought a pop before. You got the gun after you bought the bottle of the Mountain Dew. Now you know what you didn't. Now you know you didn't effed up, right? The crime spree of Booger Wolf and Chauncey. So is she a bad leader because she's a woman or because she had bad character? Both. Both. Absolutely both. Love and Dayton, Los Angeles says, "I need a hood chick." I need a hood chick. I me a project chick. Jermaine Boyd says, "Glad you're feeling better, AD. We would call it the Millionaire Morning Flu Show yesterday. The only thing missing is you didn't drink Gatorade." Yesterday was rough, but we made it through. My wife is in administration in Wayne County, but at home she know better. Interesting. In the background saying he don't mow the snow. Oh yeah, y'all remember that? I forgot all about that live stream. That was pretty funny. Like she like my hand trying to touch the stove. Duran Lee says, "Remember, AD, remember on one of your panels, if someone breaks in a house, one of the ladies said she'd be fighting her man." Yep, I remember that. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. We got Cleo's in the chat hating on Rita. Yeah, right. Oh, let them hate. We cool with that. Listen, what y'all don't think that Dusties are women too? Y'all thought that only men could be Dusties? No, it's plenty of Dusty hoes that's in the chat. It's plenty of Dusty hoes that be in the chat. Facts. For whatever reason, y'all thought that men were the only ones that I was referring to when it comes to their dustiness. These women be talking just to them the same way. The same way. They loud, they broken, they frumpy, they unfit, they got their hair falling out, they stressed. These women is toe up, bro. Toe up. It's a lot of dusty women. A lot of them. And I love that for you. I love that for you. You got stress, hypertension. Your ankles is big. One of your breasts is bigger than the other one. Your kids is bad. You got to walk around with a gun every day. And you got to pay your property taxes before they foreclose on your place. So they got to get this work the same as everybody else. They got to get this work the same as everybody else. Their kids is bad as hell. They looking for a man to come and save their little bad kid right now. Yep, frumpy as hell. Frumpy as hell. So, let them figure it out the same way with their big ankles, the same way that everybody else is. We going to undust them too. 2025 is the year that we going to bring everybody to the front of the congregation, get that dust off of them, and help them to find the relationships that they want and to help them to get the money that they need. All right? That's what we doing this year. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. It says Anton not that happy. That's why you always got another chick at the game. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I can't say what I want to say because we're still on the Millionaire Morning Show. But we'll get there on After Hours. I promise you I'm going to get there.